Hi guys, welcome to the Hear Me Out podcast. I'm your host e.t.c, and this is a show where we'll be discussing random topics, from silly topics to serious topics, even topics suggested by you guys from my point of view. I'll be having on here my friends, random guests, even you guys, my audience members, can feature on the show. And I hope you guys enjoy this wonderful ride, and I hope you guys have a wonderful time. So once again, welcome to the HMO podcast. So in this episode, I'm going to be talking about my experience in camp. Starting my first day, I remember when I got to camp, I was so excited. They have given all those stories of you might go and meet your future wife, life starts and all that, and you're just so excited. I chatted the whole keke that took me to camp. I was feeling like baddest boy in town now. I dropped my box. I even made a video like, yes, now we did this beach, touchdown Shagamu. See me dragging my box, feeling like I've arrived. And I remember the first thing I was told, the policeman just, Biggie, welcome to camp. Now, people who know me know that I hate being called Biggie. I mean, it's one of the names I hate most in my life. But he's a policeman and he has a gun. So I had to smile politely and nod. And he was like, this your box is fine, no? Anyway, after that first stage, you proceed to bring out your COVID document. And that was what I did. I went to the COVID station. Now, the COVID test is carried out by coppers of the batch before you, who are doctors and nurses. Now, those guys will be feeling like Alpha and Omega. I will even get to that later. Anyway, you feel like Alpha and Omega. Now, I've done the COVID test before, so I knew what to expect. But some people were there shaking and embarrassing their families. Anyway, some people also tested positive because apparently the simpler test also picks up the symptoms for malaria. So those who had malaria tested positive. Anyway, they were isolated. I don't think anyone actually had COVID. Now, from that stage, the next step you go to is checking. You'll be checked by police officers. And I was unfortunate enough to be checked by two Ibadan policewomen. Oh my God, they spent the whole time describing Brother Jide's wedding. I think Brother Jide has slept with another lady and they forced him to marry a second wife or something. I just shall know that by the end of their discussion, I can tell you a little bit about Brother Jide's life. Anyway, they proceeded to open my box and scatter it. Oh my God. Apparently, they seize all metal objects, including things like your laptop. You're not allowed to bring a laptop. So, they took the laptop for those that had. But in my case, I had forks. But someone told me to put forks in my mosquito net. So, they were not able to find it. They shall scatter the bag. And then took my sanitizer and said, you are very neat, though. And then they wasted it. Anyway, from there, I think the next step was I was taken to my hostel. Now, I cannot stress this enough. Getting a dope hostel and a dope bed is very, very, very important. Now, I got to camp. I think I got to camp around 4 o'clock. So, I was the last to enter my room. And I was lucky enough to get a whole bunk to myself. Yeah. And also considering the fact that I'm tall, I'm huge, they didn't want me to fall on top of anybody if I was on the up bunk. So I got a whole bunk to myself and that was all the best. Now, another thing that's very important is your roommates. Like your roommates are very important, but I'll get into that much later. So anyway, after the room, going for documentation and registration. Now, there are policemen and civil defense and soldiers who will be stationed outside your hostel. Those ones will be like, Biggie, what do you bring for us? You must have plenty money or you look rich. And I understand, I look rich. Anybody who has met me will think I'm fucking rich. I claim it in Jesus' name. Let's just leave it at that. I claim it in Jesus' name. But anyway, that was basically it. Yoruba people love to be, like, I can't say it's only Yoruba people, but Yoruba people certainly love to be. And I grew up in the north. I won't say it's not uncommon, but I've not really experienced it that much. So from that step, I went for my documentation. Now, that was when I started to realize how camp was kind of corrupt, because you need to print out a document after you have done your camp check-in and registration. When I went for my check-in, they had to check my school documents, my medical reports, and all that. I had my medical report that said I was fine, but I had a report from a doctor because I'm asthmatic. And then the person who I showed, when he saw that one report was showing I was fine and another one was showing that I was asthmatic, he looked at me like someone told him I was retarded or something. And he was like, why? Baba, give me my this thing, let me go. Who has time for your stress? So I took my stuff, I went for my registration. You don't waste time there. Those guys basically don't waste time. NYSC is trying to go digital. So, but from the next step, that was when the camp stress will now start. There was only one printer in the whole camp, and everybody must meet that one person. I didn't understand it at first, but apparently that's how camp people make money. They don't really outsource those things to many people so that they can make as much money from them as possible. So that's how all of us had to start queuing. And then people who had money had to start bribing their way in front. I had to make friends on the line because I didn't know anybody who was in camp with me at the time. And many people who attended like Unilag, Lasso, FNAB, they already were, they knew each other. But me coming all the way from Jos, I had not met anybody, so I had to start making new friends on the line before we found how we could do our printing and all that. Then from there, you'll be assigned to go and open a bank account. I was told Access Bank has monopoly of 50% of all coppers that come in. So most often than not, someone might get sent to Access Bank. There are other banks, but Access Bank is actually quite common. After you have opened your bank account, the next is platoon. You get assigned to your platoon. The last number of your state code will be your platoon number. After I had met my platoon people, initially I was like, what kind of rubbish thing is this? And the woman just looked so annoying. But turns out she was very, very nice. Shout out Miss Pedro. The woman was very, very wonderful, honestly. She made the whole thing dope. And I would say this was my second main shock, but this was like a major shock. Now keep in mind, as I had mentioned earlier, I'm not the slimmest of people. And then when you're filling your NYSC registration, you get to type your clothes size, your shoe size, and all that. And I had put the largest size, hoping, okay, when I get it, I will go and reduce it. Only for me to get there, and they just brought like 10 kits, just put it on the floor and told us to carry anyone. By the time I opened the clothes, oh my god, as if they gave me the clothes for a primary school child. And then I was like, this thing cannot size me. And they were like, it's not our problem, go and look for somebody whose own is bigger. As it turns out, NYSC only makes shoes for, I think, size 45, and my feet is almost 46, 47. That was, oh my god, that was a problem. And, in the process of complaining, I met other people. You start to meet your platoon guys. Apparently, there are some guys who come early. They do their registration, but they don't change into white and white so that soldiers won't start stressing them. They wear their mufti and they carry clear fire up and down camp, looking as if they just came, so nobody's going to stress them. I didn't know that update at the time, sure. So anyway, I got to Mami Market and went to meet tailors. Now, this was something else that shocked me about Mami Market. I've always heard that things in Mami Market are not cheap, but I thought for something like sewing, they'll be considered. There's nothing like e.t.c, nothing. Those guys looked at me and were like, you'd be like, see, this one must definitely have money. And then this idiot was like, to adjust my khaki shirt was going to be 2,000. He initially even told me 3,000. And then the trouser 3,000. I shall begged and he now agreed for 2,000 for each. They had to look for somebody who was going to expand my shoe. That guy told me 3K. Anyway, the idiot spoiled the khaki shirt and I had to collect, and I paid the balance. So I sure had to find a new tailor and all that. It was a whole process. I sure ended up spending almost 10k adjusting khaki. Keep in mind, before I come to camp, I had one of my favorite movies, Nigerian movies ever to come out, is Up North, Bank It Up nowadays. So if you haven't watched it, definitely check it out. I love that movie. It was about a young rich guy that went to NYSC and his life changed. They'll feed you false dreams. So I was experiencing my camp, or I was expecting my camp journey to be like that. But when my father didn't give me 1 million naira like Banky W to go to camp, I knew there was a problem. And out of my limited budget, I had now spent almost 10k adjusting khaki. You can imagine, 10k adjusting khaki. Oh my god, my chest was beating fast. I was like, how am I going to survive like 3 weeks in this place? But yeah, that was basically, I'll say this was my first day in camp generally. And then I got to my room that night, and then I met the most wonderful set of people. Like, my roommates were wonderful. They made camp fun, yeah. So anyway, I was hoping I could get through my whole camp experience in this one video, but I don't want to make it so long. So maybe I'll divide this whole part into a series, and then I can break down the journey. If you have enjoyed this, definitely subscribe, give a like, give a thumbs up, give a review. Please, I beg in the name of God, review. I definitely need your reviews. So this is where I'll be stopping. I hope to see you guys in the next episode. So this has been the first episode of the Hear Me Out podcast. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I really thank you guys for making it this far. If you have liked it, kindly like, subscribe, put on the notification, tell your friends, tell your families. And if you have any stories you would like to share, especially the funny ones about shock you might have experienced on getting to camp, I will leave a link. You can send a voice message through that link that I will be using in my next episode. So until next time, bye guys.